I just have to say that I had a whole list of questions and I'm going to throw them all out. You know, the film is just so moving, it's so emotional. I was just saying that watching it on the big screen is such a different experience. The first thing I want to actually ask you is, this is your first screening here. How was this for you, seeing it on the screening here at the Italian Cultural Institute?
First of all, thank you very much. I could feel the emotion in the room, so it was emotional for me. This is probably I watched it probably more than 100 times, because when a filmmaker edit a movie, has to watch it all over again, and it was a very good screening, I think. Technically, the sound was very good. We are in the capital of cinema, I guess, and I'm very happy to be here. And it was not a very easy movie to make. I would like just to say that Liliana said that she would have never done the scene at the beach in Pisa when she opens her arms and she smiles, because that scene was shot 3 weeks before October 7, and after everything changed. She liked to say that the movie was shot before October 7, but that's not true. The movie continued, actually that was only the beginning, but it continued until July 2024, before the Venice Film Festival. We were not accepted at the Venice Film Festival, but then it was a good thing, because the Rome Festival accepted the film and won a prize, and they gave us a lot of attention.
I wanted to go back a little bit and get into the story and why you made it and how you made it. It gives a really deep and detailed portrait, which gives access to the themes of trauma and the importance of how history is told to future generations. The film highlights how much Liliana has contributed to the narration of the civil and cultural ideas of Italy. You also address various topics, including discrimination, arrest when it all began, themes that we're facing once again today. Talk about why you made this film now with Liliana. I know that you had interviewed her back in the mid-90s. Why was it important for you to make this film about this public figure?
It was important because, as you have seen, she's really very popular in Italy, since President Mattarella nominated her life senator. And everybody knows her. It's like our Simone Veil in France. They had Simone Veil, we have Liliana Segre. But the president nominated her because of her testimony to the young people, especially. And also because she's so precise. I mean, you have seen that when she testifies, she's like so precise. It's almost like reading a book. She has this literary quality that it's amazing for a witness. I have to say that, I was talking with my collaborators and I said, we have 400 hours of material that we recollect for the other film, Memoria, which was shot in 1997 and was selected at the Berlinale in Berlin, so it was a big thing in Italy because 7 million watched it on Italian television. But then we didn't realize only the Memoria, which was a collective kind of film, because there are more than 27 people who talks about their experience in Auschwitz. But out of these 27, we had almost 100 people who testify in front of our cameras for 3 years, and we had this. We still have this incredible archive, which was restored a few years ago. And when we watched all over again Liliana's testimony, I realized, first of all, that were 10 hours, so she spoke a lot. And I said, it's impossible, she's such a symbol, she's so famous, we have to start from that archive, which you saw. And she liked it because she sees herself much younger. I feel that she's younger. I feel that she's younger today, but in spirit at least. And so I asked, her kids. We went to dinner one night and said, listen, we'd like to do a film, a feature-length film, docu-fiction, only on your mother. It's a monography. I know she's not so easy, but we knew each other for a long time. So, but as a matter of politeness, I said I don't go directly to her. So they told me, yes, it's a good idea, Ruggero, and she likes and this and that. We will talk with our mother. Like 16 hours later, she called me. I'm Liliana, what do you want? And so we decided together to make the movie. And so the idea of the film was born like that. But what was the other question? Because I wanted to say something important. And you said about...
I was talking about why you came back to her now after the original recordings and why was...
Well, I told her why not?
Why not?
Why not? No, I think it was indispensable in a way for Italy, especially in this moment, very moment in history, with a lot of anti-Semitism all over Europe, I guess even in the States you have. It's important, she says always to the young generations, if you have to give you an advice, start to study history and geography. Because let's go to square one. Otherwise it's very difficult to make sense, to know what is a genocide. I spoke with her the other day. She went to visit to the Pope, and that's what she said to the Pope. When we talk about genocide, we have to know what we're talking about. So I guess she gave an advice also to Santo Padre.
You know, it's interesting you just said that in many ways she's more freer or younger now than when you did your original interview with her. She didn't talk about it for 45 years, so is that one of the first times that she had talked about it? And you're right, she talked about it as if it was happening, she was reliving it and seeing it happen. But there is, as you progress through the film, and she gets older, she becomes stronger and more assured of herself. So talk about how you...
Yeah, there is this progression. It's an existential quest in a way, but I think she's someone very difficult. Someone knows her. It's like all survivors. I always say that you know, she became a mother, she became a grandmother, now a great grandmother. The guy that was talking on the phone is her older grandchild who lives in Chicago, who just had a little daughter, and she's very proud. And she became also Senate, which is a privilege for a woman like her. But I strongly believe that if someone worked with the survivors, knows very well that they never go out from that gate of Auschwitz. So you have to have this, let's say, this knowledge that they can be resilient, they can, found love, they can become mothers, grandmothers, but deep down they're still survivors. And this is important, I think, also to understand the movie. But it's true that she is freer, she's like in a wise age, of course. She's 95 almost, and she understood and she saw many things in life very quickly. Already losing her mother when she never met her mother, it's already a trauma in the trauma. So she's, the good thing is that we are very good friends. We were friends before, at least acquaintances. When I did the Memorial in 1997, she came out from a screening, and she told me, "Good, Gabbai, we made a good movie, Ghettaiolo e Ridanciano." It's difficult to translate. Ghettaiolo means from the ghetto of Rome, and Ridanciano, it's even something worse, which is like, not superficial, but like people that make you laugh, a comedy, almost a comedy like. And I said to her, "Yeah, I understand very well what you're talking about, but I take it as a compliment, because Memoria is a recollection of many people from the ghetto in Roma, many people from Venice, and you have well-read people, educated people, you have people that never went to school, but they were all survivors, and for us it was important at the time, after Primo Levi, to show this humanity. And just to show to show you her brain. And she called me the next day, saying, I apologize for what I said because the movie, I really liked it. So it's.
So that brings me to, I'm going to digress for a minute, but you have a resume of films about the Shoah. So please talk about your connection and interest in the subject matter and why it's been important for you.
Yes, this is, I'm almost ashamed to say that this is my 7th film that I made on the subject. And there are several subjects there. The Rage of the Ghetto in Roma, there is the Sonderkommando, Shalom Venezia, we have of course the first one who started everything. And there was a moment in my life where I said, okay, enough, I can just become the clone man of Italy, making only movies about the Holocaust. Thank God I don't do only. I did many other things about the mafia, also about fashion. But no, you have to break sometimes. But this is my core. In my filmography, this is probably the central subject. Why? Once because I'm Jewish and we had families who died in Auschwitz, but it's not really the main reason. When I was studying at Columbia University in New York, I attended, there was like the JV Center, a convention about the hidden children of the Holocaust. And there I understood the pain. There were, a woman from France who met for the first time her brother in that occasion. Can you imagine, after 4 years? And so I decided it was important when I came back. When I decided not to come to live in LA, which was almost coming to after my studies in New York, I said, okay, I go to LA. Then something has changed. I have a twin brother in Italy and everything. I decided to go back. And then there was the first Berlusconi's government, and everything was linked. I mean, my field, media, cinema, television was linked with the politics. I said, oh my God, I left America to come here in this mess. And I was coming back to live in New York, and then all of a sudden they called me to do this project. And the project was Tales of the Making, the archive, and the film. The film was so successful that I stayed and I never stopped working. And so I continued to do also movies about the Holocaust. And at a certain moment I was saying that I wanted to stop because say enough is enough. Then I saw so many other documentaries which I felt it was not right because I think when you tell this kind of story, you have to have a certain knowledge, sensibility, and also I hate rhetoric. When you make the Shoah a celebration, it's you kill it. And I try to give a lot of space to the witness and to the words. And till now, I think we were successful in doing it. We have our own style, and for the moment, until the last witness, I prefer to do it.
In this film, we see a different story. It's through the eyes of a child and the trauma of the second generation. A survivor who didn't talk about it for 45 years, like we said before. Primo Levi's works, films like Life is Beautiful, have brought the Holocaust to light for Italians. But talk about how your film today is one of the first in Italy to shine a spotlight on the trauma of the second generation.
Good question, because I remember what I wanted to say, is that she's very clear on that. I was depressed for 5 years. I couldn't move from my bed. And only by starting to talk about her experience, it became her Prozac. She became, almost in few weeks, because I talked to her, from a deep depression, the fact of talking about what happened to her in Auschwitz really free her from her depression. And not only that, she regained her Jewish identity. And this is for me very important, because I think, I wouldn't say from the husband, but anyway, she was kind of suppressed just to remove psychologically her trauma. And so by talking, so this is the powerful of words and the powerful of being able to express your experience. And of course, this is, the trauma and from the point of view of the witness. So it's an historical, has an historical importance. On the other side, the kids, her children, they have a trauma, which is a psychological trauma, so it's a completely different. And I don't like when there is sometimes there is this, let's say, this quest of saying, okay, there are not the witness anymore, but we have the children, like if they were witnesses. I don't like that. It's wrong from an ethical point of view. It's wrong from an historical point of view. And so I like to separate, because there are two different levels. There is the level of history and there is the level of psychological trauma.
So talk about how this film was one of the first.
Yeah. It's true, because in Italy we don't, it's not like in New York they have these psychological, collective groups of children that speak, and already many years, and there were some works also made. I think in the States you are much more advanced, also because in numbers you are many more. But was interesting the fact of the daughter. The daughter never spoke, not to a journalist, not to a filmmaker, because that was her request. I don't speak. I know about it. Then one morning I called her and said, listen, for me there is no way that there is a movie about your mother, that you two brothers are protagonists, or at least they speak a lot, and there is not the daughter. And so we talk on the phone, and I said, listen, let's do it like this. I come with a crew, small crew, they were not so small, but I come to your place, we do the interview. We can stop anytime. If you want that I use it, or if you like it, it's going to be in the movie. Otherwise, we're going to drink, a green tea. And she said, okay, come. Once she told me, okay, come, I knew that she was ready to talk. And I think she's brilliant, because it's the very first time that she's going to talk. I said, this is the first and the last one I'm going to talk. But the important is that you see that the testimony, it's from mother to daughter, so it's a matriarchal lineage, which I like very much. And I like the fact that in the movie she's really, I think she's so poignant, so brilliant, so precise. And this is what also Liliana was in shock. She didn't expect the daughter to talk. And she didn't expect that the daughter was talking about the diaries.
Yeah.
And she said, no, these diaries of Joy, I don't have them. And the daughter also asked her, show me the diaries. Do you still have it? No, I don't want to show it to you. So this is it.
So, how did Liliana react to her daughter speaking for the first time about this, and then asking, how did it change their relationship?
She told me this is the most painful things in the movie.
I have to imagine being a public figure speaking about it, and then having your children talk about their...
Yeah, I have to thank her, because she was very generous to talk about her husband, and on the fact that he was, a right-winger, so... It's, in a way, she trusted me. She told me, if someone had to do a docu-fiction, you had to do it because you had also the archive that you were the first one to interview 30 years ago. And then, I'm a sclerotic, I'm a little, how you call it, superstitious, because I'm alive, so you can make a documentary about my life. And when I'm not going to be alive anymore, someone else is going to do, someone else wants to buy the rights of the story. But this is something I leave for my kids, but I prefer that you do it while I am alive. You want to open this?
I just have a few more questions. I know they have some questions too.
Maybe.
Maybe. Because we have, there's a part of our audience that is American, and we see, her getting accepted or being offered this position as a senator for life in the Italian Parliament. Can you just explain a little bit more what that means, what that would mean in, in our country here, what that would be equivalent to the life senator, and how she was chosen and appointed to that position?
In Italy, we have two wings of the parliament, which is the parliament and the senate. And the senators are part of the parliament, of course, but there are two ways. When it's the parliament, Manuele or Console, correggetemi. When the parliament legislates something, has to go to the senate to be approved. So it's kind of a ping pong. That's why someone wanted to raise the senate, but was really built after the war. It's written in our constitution because it's a way of check and balance, which is the same thing in the United States. So to be senator means that you have a lot of power. And she opened this commission against anti-Semitism, anti-racism, and against totalitarianism, and she's very active. She does many things. She's called it, as you saw it in the movie Utopia, and she's quite bright. But recently she was involved in this hate since the movie came out, and the posters of the movie were published. She always had haters, which are the Novaks, the people who think that the earth is flat and all this kind of thing. They're all together. And also there is also a political party who they vote, but I'm not going to say it here. And so she's, there are some haters, but I was saying before to the consul that they're very loud, I would say very noisy. I always say to the kids that in school or even to the public, we're more than them, we're smarter, and we have to be still attached to our great constitution, which is the constitution, which is based on the Republican values of democracy and anti-fascism.
My last question is that, the film opens in theaters, this is a two-part question. I wanted to know what the reaction has been. And the second question is Holocaust history taught in the middle and high schools throughout Italy? How do students see it and learn?
I'm not a teacher. In our world, I'm talking about many years ago, probably 50 years ago. No, 45. It was the end of the historical program, was the Second World War. Now I think maybe even the Gaza war is the end of the... But I cannot answer this question, but I know that when I go to school, when I go to speak in schools, I always ask the teacher to prepare the kids, from an historical point of view, from a psychological point of view, just to prepare them. 1.5 months ago I was in Verona, in a school that was prepared, it was fantastic, because these young people, this generation needs symbols, they need content, they also like the idea of having the director explaining how to make a movie, and you feel that they're very much involved. In Milan, a few weeks ago, they did the same thing, it was more political, and I felt that the teachers they didn't prepare the students enough. And so it's always a matter of preparing young people to view such a film. But the good thing is that here is also, it's a family film also, family in the sense that there is a story of a family where everybody can connect. It's not only, the Shoah. But the movie was very well received because 260 cinema all over Italy showed it, and we had a very good turnout. It's going to be in a few months aired on prime time by national television, and that's where you do the numbers, millions of people can see it. But it's a difficult time. She's kind of worried. She's not afraid, as she said in the movie, but it's a difficult time to present such a film because there is controversy. Many people don't like her, but most of the people, as we say, we admire that we appreciate her work. And she's a symbol, but that's also the reason I wanted to make the movie, is that I don't like when people become symbols. Especially in Italy, we have this idea of the Mother Maria, that she becomes like someone that you can pray. I don't like golden calf, even though Jews are very acquainted with the golden calf. I like memory that is alive, that is words, that is this kind of possibility for the witness to express themselves. I think that she's pessimist, she's realistically pessimist, she's not just throwing lines at that. I am less pessimist because I think that we have done a lot of work. There is the archive for 100 hours, there are many books. We still have Primo Levi, which is read all over the world. There is a body of work that is important, and I think that the people, if they really want to study or to understand what was the Holocaust, they have the material to do it. The problem is that we have to have the political and the cultural ability to keep this flame alive, and alive again, not as a golden calf, alive because it's important, because I said to the young people, in certain situations, economic, social, political situation, anybody can become a Nazi. Of course it's a provocation, but I really believe it. So we are ready to build anti-codes, we say? My English is so anti-codes, exactly. We have to build antibodies that are strong enough in order to, as soon as there is a disease or something, there are many diseases now around, which is not racism only against Jews. I was with President Mattarella at the Quirinale, which is the presidential palace, and I saw a small group of gypsies that were there because they were invited. And nobody invited to speak on the podium. Only Liliana spoke, other Jewish people spoke. And to me this is dangerous, because then there are victims that are more important than others. And after Memoria in 1987, the documentary I made, I lived 6 months with the gypsies around Europe and Italy, to understand. It's not a movie about the horrors, it's a movie about them. For me it was important to understand why the final solution was decided only about the Jews and the Gypsy. Of course there were the political, the communists, the priests, the homosexuals, but this because they had, let's say, an idea or they were something. But the kids, they were killed only because they were born Jewish or Gypsy. It's only these two categories. And this is, to me, something that is quite shocking. So we have to be careful, because there is a specificity and a unicity about the Holocaust and the Shoah. But we have to understand that we are human beings. As human beings, we can all of us can become violent, can become racist, can become, I don't like to say Nazi, but we have to have the antibodies.
We have run out of time, so we thank everybody for coming.